this. Must learn this. Must learn this. Break it down. Stop. Grammar time.
Hola a todos, welcome to the channel, the Teacher Emporium. Let's jump right into our Gramatica today. We are looking at nouns and definite articles and how those work together in Spanish. So let's do it. Starting right with the basic question here, what is a noun? Most of you probably know this, but I want to establish it before we start talking about these definite articles. This is a person, place, or thing, right? Or even an idea, but we can keep this simple for the sake of this exercise. Cat, house, teacher, chairs, pictures, things like that are all nouns, right? So what we need to talk about is how those work in Spanish. In Spanish, we have gender. This doesn't really exist in English, so it's kind of hard for our minds to conceptualize that at first, but you'll get comfortable with that. So what do I mean by gender? There is masculine and feminine and even neutral, but we'll talk about that neuter, neutral later on down the road. So let's focus on masculine and feminine today. I know we associate these words with male and female, but that's not always the case when we're talking about inanimate objects. So let's think of these as their own independent words, masculine and feminine. Okay? So if we look at a couple of examples here, el bolígrafo, la carpeta, el profesor, la profesora, we can start to see some patterns between a few of these, looking at el bolígrafo and el profesor. We have el in front of both of these, and here we have la carpeta and la profesora. We have la in front of these, right? We can also see some other patterns here. If we're again looking at this one and this one here, we can see that they're both ending in an A. So let's talk about these details. These are ways that we can indicate if a noun is masculine or feminine in Spanish. So here would be the first thing that I would take mental note of. Most nouns that end in O are masculine in Spanish. Most nouns that end in A are feminine. Now, notice I said most. That's because there's always exceptions to rules, as we know very well in English as well. But I would say 95% of the nouns are going to work this way. Some other examples. Bolígrafo, again, in O. Carpeta, ending in A. This is going to be a masculine noun. This is going to be a feminine noun. So, take a look at these three. Which ones are masculine? Which ones are feminine? If you said el libro and el cuaderno are masculine, you're correct. And la semana, feminine. Let's talk about another indicator that we can use to determine if a noun is masculine or feminine in Spanish. That is this here, what we call an article. All right, and in this case, we're going to be looking at definite articles, but I do want to share with you that there are two sets of articles in Spanish, as there are in English, definite articles and indefinite articles. That would be the difference between saying something like the cat versus a cat if we wanted to use an indefinite. Today, we're just focusing on these definite articles right here, okay? But I think that's good for our minds to conceptualize that there are two sets of them. So staying with definite articles here as we continue, there are four of them in Spanish: el, la, los, and las. And these are going to work with our Spanish nouns. Now, every single one of these translates into the. Why do we only have one in English and there are four in Spanish? Well, as we started talking about, we have gender, masculine, feminine. What about the other two? Plurals, right? We have masculine plural and we have feminine plural. Let's look at some examples. Going back to el libro and la semana. If I wanted to plural this, noun, libro, to libros, books, I also need to plural this definite article, okay? Again, this is something we do not do in English, so it's going to take a little time to get used to it. The book becomes the books, okay? Again, this translation doesn't change at all, but we do need to plural that to match our plural ending of our noun. Same with the second one. La semana would become las semanas. Okay, so let's quickly do some practice here. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. What I've done is taken the definite article and separated from the noun, and I would like for you to put them back together. Okay, so hopefully you got el, goes with libro. Las with carpetas. La would go with carpeta, and los would go with libros. Again, we always have to match those according to masculine, feminine, singular, plural. All right, so just a quick recap on what we looked at today. Definite articles is what we were talking about. There are 4 of them in Spanish: el, la, los, and las for masculine, singular, feminine, singular, masculine, plural, and feminine, plural. All right, and if you remember, when working with nouns and definite articles, those definite articles always have to match in gender and number, meaning masculine, feminine, singular, plural. So if we are working with a singular masculine article like el, it needs to match a singular masculine noun like libro. And again, if you remember in the notes of the video today, O is an indicator of masculine, A indicator of feminine. So L is going to match that O, La is going to match the A, and then of course if we're going to plural these, we do have to plural that definite article along with the noun, los libros, las carpetas. And that's it for the video today. Thanks for watching. Gracias por ver. Check out the links in the description for additional practice. Y hasta la próxima.